What's up, everybody? No tea drinking Lee, coffee drinking Lee today. He had to work. He's doing his Asian impersonation by going to work and all that nonsense, and being a good child and making the family name proud and all that Tai Lung and
Ding
holy
dong.
kind of business, um, Asian life, man. Anyhow, I want to bring something up before we get any further into the conversation because this is a good time for us to bring this up, considering that many believe that we at Savage Patriots are uh, two-faced,
Damn.
or we only ride one side of the fence.
Oh, okay.
I want to bring something up to you, considering that this administration has only been in power a year now,
You gonna bring it up?
and we want to show you what we were talking about last year. Okay, this is indeed our page, right? Just so you all know, this is us. See right there, it says the Savage Patriots right there. By the way, we want to thank y'all. We hit 3K at the beginning of the year, and we're already at 3,100. Thank you. We're moving like Lucky Charms. Anyway, I want to beat the crowd. Here we say that when she was getting called to be the AG, if you remember, Matt Gaetz was originally the one, right?
Yep.
And they hated the idea of Matt Gaetz. Everyone, he's not a lawyer. And when they presented Pam Bondi, we said, oh, this was the description. Listen now. With issues arising from the Epstein list, we had questions about Pam Bondi. Huh. Is she compromised? Wow.
And that was July.
That was July of last year. Last year.
I remember this.
Was it an intentional move to expose something else? We're not fortune tellers, but nigga, we might.
But we are. We are.
We might be close.
But we are. Now, Marlon, how many times have we predicted the future on this app?
It's been often. It's been often. Yeah. We might be close to Nostradamus level at this point, y'all.
Negroes.
Okay. I'm just reading. You know what? I want to get this clear because I don't know if y'all can read it, but I want y'all to be reading it, what I'm reading. All right. I don't want to play it. I want to read the I want the description. Here we go. We might not be Nostradamus, but dadgummit, we close. All right. Is this an intentional move to expose something else? Was she doing this on her own, or did Trump cultivate this? Let's talk and see if maybe this is a way to get Matt Gaetz in that spot. Remember, when we were talking about this, there were problems with the Epstein list and it's delivering to the public. You remember this? And do you remember that Trump had an issue with it too? Okay. All right. Now we're seeing full blown what we thought was an issue with Pam Bondi last year.
Yep.
Coming to fruition this year. All right, cool. I don't want nobody coming to this live talking no sideways stupid stuff because today's not the day for y'all. Like, it won't be the day. I'm telling you, today ain't the day.
It's
One,
Friday.
I'm tired. Two, it's Friday. And three, it's our program. We really don't have the time for that today.
And it's Friday the 13th.
It's Jason and Freddie on screen, ready to go. All right. I don't know who's Jason, who's Freddie.
I'll be Freddie, man.
I think you could be more Freddie. I just beat you up and pow pow pow. I think I would. That would make more sense. I am more Jason-esque. I think that would be more me. Matter of fact, just walk after you. I'm not gonna run because I'm too old for that at this point. I'll walk nonchalantly, and then I'll still find you. He gonna track you down in your dreams. So
that's a fact. I'll have you thinking about me tonight. Some of you already do.
Anyhow, so we'll start with the most polarizing person to speak about it, and that would be one Alec K. Jones.
Man.
Alec K. Jones. Alec K. Jones had something to say about it, which was interesting. Really interesting what he had to say. Here we go.
CIA ran this. It's really a giant money laundering operation, which we already knew. Mike Pence has proven. Trump believes that it's also cold. There's no way to prove it. The Democrats have had the file. They're going to twist it. He's been convinced it's all disaster. It's old news. It's designed to be a tar baby, which it is. So he's going to say, let's just move on. But I explained at the time, and I've told the White House this, you can't. It's a trap. This is how the people that are guilty trick you into becoming an accomplice and then manage it and turn it around and politically destroy you. Then, of course, none of the truth ever comes out. It's all a giant smokescreen of garbage and fake AI and the rest of it. So I was just simply bringing that clip up, not to obfuscate from the clip, that's why I raised it, but to say, here's the other layers to it that are going on. Now, to answer your other question, yes, this looks absolutely horrible. She looks like a deer in the headlights. She looks like she has a gun to her head. Like when we saw Bongino and Patel 11 months ago get up on Fox, they go, I know we said there were another shooter in Pennsylvania. There wasn't. Epstein acted alone. In fact, he wasn't even a child trafficker, and he had no accomplices, and he killed himself. And the Easter Bunny is real. and everybody turned against him because we'd already studied it. We knew it wasn't true. Plus, it was a 180. So it's the same thing. It looks terrible. It is terrible. It's hurting Trump really bad. It's hurting America. And again, my frustration is it lets the Democrats, who are the ones that are really guilty, if you look at the evidence, pretend that it's Trump and the Republicans.
Good. I'm glad he said it because I'll be getting into that too.
That's very true.
He's not lying. He's not lying. I will say this. I'm going to give the Democrats some props, y'all. You ready? This is one of the first plans they've ever had that's working out. When I say almost perfect, this is an almost perfect plan. They're getting almost exactly what they want to have happen. To have happen, minus a few, niche problems, but the majority of it, they're actually getting what they want out of the population by this going this way, which is why I still believe that she's a plant.
And you know how it all started, right? How it started with Elon Musk. Remember when Elon Musk said Trump's in the Epstein files?
Mm-hmm.
That raised the antennas for the Democrats because they wanted to get him, and they created this. This is all them. They fell right into the plan, and it's not going to work out in their favor because the more they dig, once we get into Pam Bondi and her shenanigans, but the more they dig themselves in this grave, they're not going to be able to get out.
I just don't understand necessarily how and why. Really, what I don't understand is the why. Trump is allowing. I understand he's got his tons more sticks in the fire. I get it, but you got to abandon the rest of the sticks for just a second and handle business on this front. Even if you know that they're doing this as a front to come after you, I say you do what we were hoping you did last year, and there's still time, by the way. Fire Pam Bondi. And regardless of what anybody say, put Gates up in there.
I agree. But what if he's doing this with Bondi to force her to expose herself?
She did already.
No, but this is the purpose. He wants her to get out here on camera and do all this stuff and say all this weird stuff that we're going to go over just so the American people can see her and be like, hey, man, something's wrong with her. If he fires her, I'm not going to feel bad about it.
It's an interesting strategy. I'm not sure it's an award-winning one, but it's a definite interesting one. Like we said last year too, the real reason I think he only went after her was because she was pro 2020 being stolen. She was like all over that when it came to Arizona and Pennsylvania. She was she was putting and to that point they got that out there, and now they brought charges to election fraud. Okay, awesome. The other half of that same live we did was this topic about Epstein. I'm glad to see that there is the statement in there that Trump was a snitch, like we covered last time, but that's only going to help him so much until he gets rid of this clown, like for real. Even when we talked about her last time, we talked about some business interests that she had that were very, very suspect. And I think we all can go back and watch it. It's there. Let me see if this. I'm gonna put the link to it in the chat. You can go see it for yourself. Watch the whole thing again and see if I'm lying. But this was an interaction, a very interesting one she had with Representative Massey. And she did get a couple of zingers in there about truth about him, because he has his issues too.
Mm-hmm.
But the topic is the Epstein list. So I want to focus on what the interaction is going to yield here.
That are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, or sorry, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction.
Now, I want to point one thing out to her defense or anybody else's defense when it comes to what's redacted or not. And I think we pointed this out some time ago. There is a condition to be met for implications when it comes to people that have might had affiliations to versus actions with Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
And putting people's name out there simply because they had interaction with Epstein and people extrapolating that and saying they have been affiliated with to action with Epstein, that could be problematic.
Yeah.
That's reputation damage, especially just because you've had contact doesn't mean that you know him to the point where you're working with him.
That's
and
true.
I think the delicate balance would have to come in figuring out when tips come in, when someone says something happened, is trying to figure out, did that actually happen or not? And if it didn't happen, how can I prove it? If it did happen, how do I prove it? And do I put all the information out there if I haven't proved if it did or didn't? If all of this stuff I'm going to tell you, in 3 million pages, you're not going to have everything quantified. You might have maybe 5% of that might be true. The rest of it, people calling in.
And you might get some pushback on that, Marlon, from the Believe the Victims.
That's good. I believe them. I believe what they believe is happened to them happened to them. I believe they believe it. I'm going based on the 15, 20, 30 women that came across on the steps.
Mm-hmm.
They had the chance that day to give every name.
Yep.
What did they tell you? They told you, we're going to make a list, but we don't know if we are going to make it public. If you're going to tell me that you're feeling some kind of way because names weren't mentioned by the DOJ, and you had a chance last year, all these female victims had a chance last year to tell us the names that did indeed, with your lawyer, did indeed do something to you, and you didn't do it, and you said you were going to put names out there and you never put them out there, then you can't talk now. You get nothing to say.
And to get the names out, it would have been so easy, man. And even if they didn't want to come public, you know how many online Reddits, Anonymous, Alex Jones, there's all these people out there that would have took those names and put it out there for the world to see.
But the thing is, you came out there with your name.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there with their whole name, their face. Listen to me now. If you took the time to get in front of the Capitol steps
Mm-hmm.
with your whole face exposed, your name, and your lawyer to
Mm-hmm.
tell people that you have names and you never divulge the names, I can't trust you. I'm sorry. I can't trust you that anything happened to you. I'm sorry.
And that whole event was a pretty big deal that day.
It
It was
was.
all over the news. That could have been the moment one of them could have stepped up to that mic and said, here are the people, in front of the whole world, in front of everyone, right there on the spot. Now, would the mainstream media have allowed it? Who knows? They may have cut the feed. But at least someone would have had the courage enough to stand in front of that camera and say, you know what? Screw it. Here are the people.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk. And that's my biggest problem. So again, I'm not defending Pam's stance. I'm not defending redactions. I'm just bringing something that should be common sense, but I understand it's lacking today. I'm just bringing something that should be common sense, that you can't just put everybody that has, okay, look, they put Jay-Z in the list. Did they say anything about Jay-Z doing anything with anyone? No. Somebody called in. Listen to me how silly this is. And I don't like Jay-Z. But I didn't like Puffy neither. But people kept saying, Puffy did this with kids. You don't have a damn lick of proof that Puffy touched kids. None. You don't know that. You can't even prove it, but you want people to say it. So with Jay-Z, somebody calls in and says, yeah, well, I was at a party cheating on my husband. And literally, this is what she say. She was out there with her side dude, drank too much, woke up in a facility somewhere she thinks was Epstein's mansion in Florida. Thinks. She doesn't know. Says that she saw somebody that she thinks might be Epstein. Harvey Weinstein was there along with Jay-Z, but Weinstein was the one that abused her. So you put all those names in there. What do you think the first things people are going to do? Jay-Z was around Epstein when a girl was being abused. Mind you, it was Harvey Weinstein abusing her, and they never said Epstein was there. They just said that it was maybe at his house, and you mentioned the name Jay-Z. So what do you do in that situation? Do you drop the name, or do you redact it because he didn't do anything by proof? You see the dilemma that they're in, and that what we want is all these names. What do you think is going to happen when you get all the names? People are going to start assigning blame where there's no blame or proof. What happens with that? Reputational damage.
And in a recent event on social media, not to get off topic, but this happened to that one DoorDash incident.
Right.
You know, there was no proof. She said something, she put it out on social media, and then the freaking mob attacked this guy without any real proof, without anything. It's just what she said. She said may have happened, would have happened, what she thought would happen, and automatically they labeled him as a rapist and everything else. So yeah, you know, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not defending, but logic has to prevail at some point.
So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see.
But he still leaves two faces. He undoes these faces for his purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leaves these up. See, those are still redacted.
Wonder who.
Because
that's my point.
We can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a
Can I
co-conspirator.
finish my answer?
And this is my issue with Congress and questioning both sides. If you're going to ask, you're going to get your time to flesh out your viewpoint about the question. I think you should, at minimum, give them more than one sentence to respond. I think that's only fair.
As long as they get straight to the answer, not the filibuster.
And she did.
Yeah.
And she did. She addressed the question, but she had more to say, and you butt right in before she even gets to the rest of her question, her answer. So I don't agree with that. At the same time, her answer after it still was dumb, but still you had to give the person time to flesh it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Sir, come on. Let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name. He
Reclaiming
was
my
listed I'm
time.
going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He
It's-
was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Can I have my time
He
back?
was,
Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my
Can I give
time.
my answer?
So
Yes.
I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman,
because I
may I
have
give my
another
answer
question.
on that?
If-
It's
Here's
a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer
Yep,
on that.
we'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his
Chairman,
next
it's
question.
my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
Red hand, there was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
Okay.
and we invited
what?
you
Switch-
in.
show the video.
This
Show
guy
the-
has Trump
Gentlemen.
derangement syndrome. He needs
Show
to
the
get, you're a failed
He won.
politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get
want
on
you to
things
watch the
matter.
video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the
Himself,
rules
there
here.
is
Time.
no
I-
credible information.
What? How did they switch? What just happened there?
You asked Merrick Garland that the last 4 years. Did you talk about Epstein?
I am
at
reclaiming
all
my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick
You
Garland.
don't get a reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't.
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
When I don't answer.
No. See why I say I can't stand neither one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Because is she okay? Is she being stupid with her answer? Yes, but is she right about what she just said? 100%.
Yeah.
Nobody in Congress brought Merrick Garland to front to ask him about Epstein. Not a soul. Not left, not right, not center. Nobody gave a damn about Epstein or anything that was happening with Epstein. Even after he died, they didn't care. They didn't care if Trump was in there or not. They didn't care. All of a sudden, now they care to the point of definitely need to know. And they're both fighting over something that nobody really wants to give the answer to. It's just, it's aggravating, bro. Aggravating.
It's a show, man. It's a movie.
It's like a B straight to DVD movie.
Tubi movie.
VHS even.
Question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
Now,
where the
I want to
most
know at
transparent-
what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it
Time is
back on
up.
the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not. And it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired. The
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
I would,
order.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering,
gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General is allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at
Without
them.
objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times. The DOJ released nude photos and
Without objection.
identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because
Without
they're still redacting files that you.
Chairman, are we going to
I am
going to
not
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Okay, so let's ask the obvious question.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a victim, is it your obligation to take somebody to court if they've done you wrong? Yes or no?
Are you obligated?
Is it if you want justice?
If you want justice, yes.
Okay. If you report something to the FBI, is it up to the FBI to bring charges to the person just because you reported it?
It's their job to investigate it.
Okay. But is their job to bring charges?
If
They
it's
have that
found.
option, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, they're acting in a way that's disingenuous, bringing something to the FBI's attention when you have lawyers on your side to bring charges against these people, and you say you have proof that they resign. That's on you.
Mhm.
That is on you, victim. You. Look, if the state don't bring charges against somebody that does something, and it's against me, I have the obligation, if I want justice, to seek justice. Blaming somebody else because they didn't do something when you have the onus on you, it's you're the victim, that's a you problem. You know who else you can sue? The Justice Department.
Yep.
For lack of investigation. You know who can't do anything right now? Congress. Congress got diddly squat. They can't do nothing to these men. Nothing. All they're doing is talking and saying, look, we're bringing this to your attention. What now? Now, now we got to depend on the same DOJ that you said is incompetent to do something. So what exactly is the end result? What's the end result? You have no end result.
Yeah.
They're not trying to get justice for nobody, people.
Facts.
Not even the so-called victims want justice right now. They're out there parading in front of the buildings and talking and mentioning names and saying we want, but even they won't tell you who.
Yep. And it's all grandstanding. You know, they get in front of these cameras, they have these debates and these arguments and all this yelling back and forth in front of the cameras. And as you said, they know there's nothing they can do. But in order to keep the American people engaged and keep them focusing on whatever the hell they're doing, they're going to continue to do this because this is the shiny object right now. So everybody in America is focused on this list. So they're going to continue to do this. They're going to get up there again. They're going to ask the same questions over and over again, redacted documents, and nothing's going to get done. And they're going to do it long enough to where the American people get tired or bored with it, and they can move on to the next thing.
And not only did they deal with the Epstein, but here we have another case of hypocrisy from Congress. Okay.
As is the gentleman from California.
Great, thank you. Madam Attorney General, you acknowledged earlier to Mr. Johnson that President Trump was mentioned and the release countless times, you said, in the Epstein files. I just want to play a video, though, for you that I think speaks to the frustration that many of these victims have. Of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at
We have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay.
Therein lies my point. There is a reason why they're focusing on the grandstanding. Do you guys remember? And I know bro does because we did a whole episode about it. Hold on. We did a whole episode about it. We said that when Trump asked the judges, the Department of Justice asked the judges in the northern and southern districts of Florida and New York to release grand jury information. What's grand jury information? Grand jury information is provable information brought before the courts, brought as part of the case and part of witness testimony under oath. The reason that is important is so that the person that you're mentioning cannot then say it's hearsay. That's the importance. So what happened when Trump did that? The judges refused to give that information freedom. So now what they do is they go to a list of FBI call-ins, reports, random personnel statements of names mentioned, and that's now a credible list. But it's not a credible list. And that goes for people that are in politics, to Donald Trump, to average Joe, to some businessman. All the people mentioned in this, none of the things that are mentioned are grand jury information that you can actually go back and compare because they won't unseal grand jury information. That's why Trump wanted that unsealed, for the reasons of what? Provability. Not hearsay, none of that. Provability.
And on that, if Trump wanted it unsealed, is that saying that Trump has nothing to hide?
Right. Right. It might, but at least he's willing to put it out there. And even in this case, he didn't redact his name from some of the most crazy allegations. If you're telling me that Trump held onto the paperwork because he wanted to redact his name would never be in a document.
Yep.
They had time to do that. All I had to do was go to the DOJ's website and I can type in the word Trump and it'll bring out every point that his name was mentioned. And then just go back and redact every last one of them. You don't think that they got the personnel to do at least focus on just him? They didn't do that. There were tons of instances they mentioned him doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But of course, it's all FBI call-ins and tips that call in. So my point is this. While I want to see people that actually did stuff with Epstein behind bars, I would think, hear me out, I would think that the people that wanted that would have wanted it for the last 5 years. They didn't want it for the last 5 years. Heck, they didn't want it for the first term of Trump. They didn't ask for Epstein's list. In fact, when we were mentioning Epstein's list, it was a hoax. It was all a joke. There's no such thing. He couldn't possibly be that prolific. Y'all forgot that time frame? You know how much of a joke Epstein was for these people? Oh, you think Epstein's running a whole global pedophile ring? Stephen Colbert was laughing about it. He laughed about Pizzagate. The entire left laughed about it. As soon as they heard possibly that Donald Trump's name might be in some files, all of a sudden now they're super interested in it. But even during the 4 years that the wet potato was in, they never went after it. Why? Because then they would be held to releasing only certain names too. It's a left to right issue. So Patel is not wrong that they were trying to release stuff that you can actually prove. But again, if you say you're going to release everything, you can't then go back and say, well, some things we're not going to, because then you look disingenuous.
You can characterize the numbers however you want it.
Claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number.
I understand why the victims are frustrated, and the Attorney General acknowledged what Mr. Patel would not acknowledge, that it was way more than 1,000 times. But I want to move, Madam Attorney General, to weaponization of government. And yesterday it was reported that 6 members of Congress had indictments sought against him, and they were not returned by a grand jury. My colleagues have spoken about their frustration of being in subpoenas and having cell phone records combed through. Well, in 2017 and 2018, Adam Schiff and I had our cell phone records and email records combed through, not by you, but a different Department of Justice under the president. It was in retaliation for our role in the Russia interference campaign. And
No, it wasn't. Let's keep it 100. You were indeed sleeping with a spy, and you were found out, and that's why they went through your records. Again, context matters.
Inspector General report would find this improper and that the predicate for it was absurd. In 2020, after sitting on 2 committees that were a part of the president's first impeachment, an FBI agent leaked my cooperation in a national security case where my campaign was targeted. The president's FBI senior leadership authorized 2 statements to the press that said I was never suspected of wrongdoing and only helped the investigation. But that didn't stop the death threats or my GOP colleagues from referring me to an ethics investigation where Kevin...
Aren't you doing the same thing with Trump? Okay.
McCarthy's chairman on the ethics committee would find the same thing as the FBI. Our current FBI director would then write a book called Government Gangsters and identify a long list of enemies. About a quarter of them have been either investigated or indicted. He listed me at the very top along with Adam Schiff, and during that same testimony refused to recuse himself when asked if he would recuse if any case came across his desk involving me or people on that list. Since that testimony, his department has put me under investigation with Senator and Schiff for the nonsense mortgage fraud cases that we've seen. I get it. This is what the president does. I've priced it in. We have a bingo card at home that my kids have made of what will come next.
Yeah, right.
I expected that the president would come after his enemies. But what I want to talk to you next is serious. And I did not expect this would happen. And I'd like your help on it. The president has inspired death threats against me and many sitting up here with me. In June 2025, an individual left 11 voicemails at my district office. On the voicemails, they said, get the message to him. I'm going to hunt him down, that motherfucker, and toss his ass over the Golden Gate Bridge by my fucking self. Donald Trump's Department of Justice in the Northern District of California declined to prosecute. On May 14, 2025, on Twitter, responding to something I posted, an individual said, no, it wasn't Eric, and now I'm going to kill you. The Department of Justice from the Southern District of Texas declined to prosecute. May through December of 2025, we received messages at my office that said, I hope somebody shoots you and your children and your wife in the head. Pew, pew, motherfucker, pew, pew. I would stay indoors as much as possible, and my children, unfortunately, have to do that. The Department of Justice has not charged this individual and cited that he's a prolific caller and has health conditions, although what we have found in our own investigation and his voicemails is that he has said he will employ others to do this.
Okay, now hear me out. You know that. Then you file charges. Listen, it's so simple. You file charges. If it's true, file charges. Go ahead.
It's hard for me to believe these people.
Man, come on.
It's hard for me to believe that this actually happened, because just we talked about it a few weeks ago when it came to the Elon Omar shenanigans. You know, these guys can easily hire people to leave tweets, to leave messages, to leave death threats. Pew, pew, pew. Who the hell says that? You know, who says that? You know, so all of this is just always to take the shift off what they did, which was wrong, especially when it came to Donald Trump and the Russia collusion stuff, to become the victim. This is what they always do. Same thing what Elon Omar did. Same thing what this guy is doing. So I don't believe some random person on X said that to him. I believe it was somebody they knew. They hired him to write a bunch of tweets, and they hired this person to leave a bunch of freaking email or voicemails.
The president can come after me. It's fine. I'm in the arena. So are these folks.
Yeah.
But we never expected that the Department of Justice would not seek to prosecute and investigate those who are making threats against us. And that would include those on that side of the aisle. And I'm just asking for your help to protect life, because life is at risk with the environment we're in right now.
I don't believe you believe that, simply because you don't say anything about ICE agents being threatened either. And you're not calling for any investigations into ICE agents being threatened. In fact, you want more ICE agents put off duty than you do want them on, and that you're okay with people going to confront ICE agents and have them killed. So I don't understand how you have this moral high ground with no morality at all.
I just don't get it. I just don't like that guy at all. His face pisses me off. But
I'm curious to see what Bondi says. Let's see what Bondi says to him.
Congressman, I completely agree with you. I know about several of those personally involving you. I believe one has been charged publicly, and there's something I would be happy to talk to you about off camera, but I can assure you that they are very serious. They are being looked into, and I can give you more details on those. None of you should be threatened, ever. None of your children should be threatened. None of your families should be threatened. And I will work with, you can come into my office any day. I will work with all of you on both sides of the aisle if you are ever threatened. And I'll gladly talk to you after this hearing about your cases. But I can tell you some of them are very active.
Appreciate that. And I yield back.
Now, what do you think came about those cases? Let's take a look here. I'm gonna do the obvious, right?
I was gonna ask you that. She said publicly.
Eric Swalwell.
You're not gonna find anything.
Let me see.
Some made up name with a made up photo, grainy photo.
Let's find out.
Person.
So let's see, a Florida man. Let's go here. Let's see how many of them. Let's say there's NBC News. A Florida man has been sentenced to 2 years for threats to kill Swalwell and his wife. Michael Shapiro, 73 years old.
Oh my God.
73 years old, arrested in January in connection with the threats, which were voicemails left by him. Shapiro said also called Swalwell a Chinese spy. He was sentenced in federal court Wednesday, pleaded guilty to one count of transmitting threatening communications on May 17th. And mind you, this was in 2024. I don't see any other threat being told. California lawmaker doubts threats against Democrats. So even his own people doesn't believe that these are death threats.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, man. Like I said, anyone can make up the way our government is and how they control the media, they control the narrative, they control everything. It is so easy for them to create that. Because I don't remember hearing about any cases like that on TV. You know what I mean? I figured it'd be a big deal. So how do we know they didn't just make up an age, make up a name, publish it saying this guy was da 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 da, and put it out to the American people?
Okay.
Is there a mugshot? Is there anything of this guy?
Not that I found. Let me see here. Look at this.
Okay.
I want to find this one.
Oh my God, man.
Let's see.
73. Dang.
You remember when people were asking Iran to kill President Trump, right? Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. Anybody brought to justice over there? No.
No.
Okay, that would be the answer. How many times? So one person. So to the point where three times there's been a shooting attempt on Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People will do demonstrations in the street portraying the death of Trump. Nobody's been arrested for that, right? Okay,
No.
cool. I keep looking now. Let me see if I can find one here. Here we go. We need to end Trump. Trump is a Nazi. What do we do to Nazis? Here we go. Listen to this one.
Someone in the White House better take their shot right now and better not fucking miss.
She says she thinks somebody in the White House needs to take their shot right now and never miss. Has she been arrested? No. All I know is this: from Epstein to death threats to complaints, the one place I know nothing ever gets done in is Congress. Every time they have a hearing, it goes just to the hearing. So we have some clicks and we have some views and some clickbait videos and stuff like that. But that's about it. Yep. None of the victims of Epstein that are adults have ever done anything outside of the court, the paperwork in the courts. When they say they had names, they don't drop the names. You have the option to. Again, I'll go back to those court steps. Why didn't you drop the names that you said? In fact, you left and said you were going to go make a whole list of it with your lawyer. We haven't heard hide nor hair for you. That's that's almost 2 years old now. But why? Why is it that that's the case? The case is that way because at the end of the day, nobody really wants to see anything take place.
Yep.
Not the left, not the right, not the center. It's not about justice or stopping anything. They want to placate you long enough to make you believe that something is getting done just in time to get you to think and vote a certain way. That's all. And they get it every time. The hearings are not to get anything done. The hearing is to make you think something is going to get done. And every time it doesn't get done, we say, I'm not going to fall for that again. Then they come back with the same thing.
And didn't Pam Bondi say if we release all the names, it'll collapse the whole system or something like that?
Yeah, it'll crash the whole system. Then crash the damn system.
You know how many Americans just want the system to crash? Because the system doesn't work for us. And they're showing us with all the people on this Epstein email. Now, if Marlon or myself were names in that freaking email and it showed that we did something nefarious, our doors be getting kicked in, we'd be getting dragged off in chains immediately. But because these people and their status and whatever, they have a different justice system than we do. If I had a broken tail light and I was driving down the highway, they'd pull me over and fine me for that. If I didn't pay my fine, they put a warrant out for my arrest for something minor, non-violent, no victim. But these people can sit up there and get on camera, smiling in our face, knowing that they're on that list, knowing that they've been to that island, and still look at us with a straight face, talking about vote for us in 2 years in the midterms. Burn it down.
It's just wild to me that this is how it's been, and people stepping caught on to the track record, the trend. It has been a trend now for the last, I don't know what, 20 years.
Yep.
20. Even when Colin Powell went before Congress and told you that no, we didn't know that there were weapons of mass destruction there. He told him that in no uncertain terms. What happened? Nothing. He was allowed to continue doing his job. Not a thing was done. Why? Because it wasn't that wasn't any trying to make this happen. It wasn't trying to bring anybody to justice. It was simply just to get the information out there. That's it. We said something and now we're good. Now you know.
And we're going to watch the peasants fight over it for the next month.
Oh, filthy peasant.
And because here's what's going to happen. Right now, the Epstein madness is going on. And it's kind of dying down, if you notice that. People are still talking about it. It's still out there. They throw this whole Pam Bondi thing in our face with the Epstein stuff. So now we're watching Pam Bondi. What happens in 2 weeks? Clinton. So now the Epstein stuff, which is more important than whatever Clinton is doing, now if they tie her to the Epstein, it's game time.
Highly doubt that one.
But they're not going to do that. They're going to talk about Benghazi. Watch. It's going to be about Benghazi. It's going to be all about Benghazi. They're going to focus on that for 2 to 3 days, and people are going to forget about Epstein, and they're going to be focusing on Hillary Clinton. And this is the game they play. It's the Roman circus. They give us breadcrumbs, and we eat them up like good little peasants. Then we forget because it's on to the next one.
Come and see the violence inherent in the system. Our old friend is back again, but I think he dropped the comment and dipped. He came out here a couple of maybe 15 shows ago. One of them people.
He's very forgettable.
Very forgettable.
Yeah, forgettable.
I anticipate that you weren't listening, that you came in with a preconceived notion and said what you said, or you came in at one point hearing something, didn't listen to the rest and left, or you heard it, your fingers got ahead of you, you couldn't delete the comment, and now you're stuck in limbo. In either case, what your comment does indeed prove is that you're retarded. That's all your comment proved to me, is that you are a short bus victim. You were on the short bus when you were in school. You got forgotten on the short bus a lot because your parents weren't there at the bus stop. And more than likely, some pedophile picked you up. And that's the reason why you turned out the way you did. Somebody picked you up on somebody's corner. And then before mama got home, the dude had his way with you. You got familiar with it. You start to like it. And now you became who you are now. That's my anticipation. That's what I'm reading in your comments. However, if you are brilliant enough to actually learn how to focus on a conversation, I think it would do you some justice. We understand that most of you do not know how to do that. You don't possess enough brain cells. The synapses never fired when you were born for you to have that kind of channeling to happen in the brain waves. But maybe, just maybe, you could attempt to see if it worked. There are breakthroughs in science every day that will give remedial people the ability to think. You can try it, just maybe reach out to your Medicaid, Medicare, see if they'll cover it, and see what happens. It will be a good thing for you. But in the meantime, in between time, learn to think a little bit, or do what we like to tell you all to do: shut the hell up,
and come up with a different fake insult. Trump charges so 2016.
Yeah,
we've been called every derogatory name in the book. Nothing you guys say is going to offend us. We laugh at you because you're a joke, and we know in the real world you wouldn't be talking this mess. So have fun on your little computer with your little fat fingers, and go eat a Hot Pocket that your mama made you in the basement
with your bicycle helmet on your head.
Yeah,
riding around with your drooling on yourself. Handyman. Look, I tell you, some of y'all are weirdos, bro.
Yeah.
The fact that we're not even on here defending Pam, we lighten her up. You can't even learn how to listen long enough to figure out what's going on in the room. Read the room, bro. Read the room.
Okay.
I do hope this happens, though. This is what I hope happens. I hope this is a proof to Trump to do one very important thing. Switch AGs. There's still time. You still have 3 years left of this that you can do. Well, two and 3/4. You can do a lot in 2 3/4 years with a new person in the helm. Okay. I would suggest you swap out everybody, including Patel.
I believe that's
swap Patel out too.
I agree.
You get rid of them and you put in people we don't know.
Yep, I agree. Me.
No names, just no kind of fanciful, nothing. Just regular old Joes, put them up in there and see what happened.
You know, Marlon, it's funny you said that because Chip Roy said, it's floating around out there somewhere. He pretty much said, we're going to have to gut the whole system and start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to get gutted. And I agree with you, man. You need to, Congress, all of them, midterms, everybody needs to go. Every single one of them. All the staff, everybody needs to go. You need to have a whole new election with new bodies in there. Marlon's going to be the secretary of
trash talk.
Trash talk.
The secretary of clapbacks. That's what I want to be.
What'd you say? What did you say? Hold on, Mr. President. Hold
SCB.
on.
SCB in the house. Secretary of clapbacks.
Yeah. But yeah, I really believe it needs to happen. And I believe that it might. You know what? I believe this is just going to be too much for the American people to handle at some point. And the American people are going to start screaming and screaming. And hopefully they listen that this should be everyone that's sitting up there right now. This is it. Midterms come, all new faces in there, new people that we've never heard of.
Look, he is indeed though. Look, and look, whether or not it's so whether I don't even want to call it someone in his ear or he just really don't know how to read people. He ain't been picking right for a while now. Okay, the first administration, we called him out on that too when he had sessions up in there doing. Look, the amount of stuff that we could have gotten done if he had just picked the right people. But then again, here's the thing: a lot of the people he picked talked really good before they got in there, namely Bondi, Cash, and Bongino. If you listened to them before they got in, you would have sworn that Trump had the most amazing picks.
We did a video on it. We called them the Avengers, didn't we? Call them the
we did an Avengers thing.
Yeah,
but we also said that we can't be super sure about Cash either.
Yep.
We said all this stuff. We had our reservations about all of them. We said there was more dog in them than there was anything else, but at the same time, we had our reservations. And you can't say, oh, in hindsight's great. I mean, amazing stuff. Hindsight's great. But we can't operate always in hindsight. And I think in this case, Paula White should have never been in there. And that's a whole different kettle of fish I got to talk about too. That raging clown. Anyway, but the picks that he made, most people thought that's going to be good. Even we thought that at least Cash would be good. And it was a complete disappointment. The one I think didn't get in that I thought now that I'm looking back at it would have even been better than Bondi would have been Gates. Gates might have been a better pick overall, but we all know that he wouldn't have gotten in. But now we might be able to get somebody better in.
Yeah, I want Trump to bring someone in that create fear in the deep state. You know, someone that hasn't been around them, someone that's not tied in with any of the DC swamp, someone totally outside the swamp that's unheard of. I want that person to strike fear in the swamp. And I want them to go completely nuclear when they come in there.
I don't know if that person exists, bro.
I don't know, man. There might be somebody out there. There might be.
The only people I know of are on the screen, and we don't qualify.
Never say never.
Yeah, we don't qualify.
Well, none of them qualify either.
Yeah, they qualify by paper. We don't even qualify on paper.
Yeah.
We qualify intellectually, but we don't qualify on paper.
Yeah.
Now, what you put either one of us in there? What? You'll never see blackout anywhere in that.
It's over. I'm telling you, it's over. It's over.
Bro, look, the very next day, everybody's account number will be on screen. What? You're going to have like bank accounts, and I'm going to show you everything everything. You're going to see exactly how much they make, who they invest, every damn thing. You're going to have to sue me to shut me up. I'm coming in with the idea I only got 2 days, because after 2 days, I'll be put to death because they're going to need to. But I got 2 days because they don't know how bad I'll be within the first 2 days. But within that first 2 days, I ain't sleeping.
Nope.
I'm taking as much anti-sleep medication as I can. And all I'm doing is putting stuff on the internet.
Everything, too. Everything.
Man,
see, that's how you do it, man. That's the only way to stop this. You need to stop playing these games with Congress and all these news, these interviews, and all this bull crap on some of these podcasts. Shut it all down, Trump. Shut it all down. Take control of the airwaves and say, we're showing you the truth. That's all we're doing. And you put everything out there for the whole world to see at the same time. So nobody can say, oh, well, they're only doing this. They're only conservatives. They're only showing this. Liberals are only showing this. Nope. It's on every single channel. Everyone's seeing it at the same time. It doesn't matter what you watch. That's how you squash it. You got to have them people in Congress that are doing these things, all this crooked, all this corruption, all this stealing, all this pedophilia, all this vampirism stuff that they do. They need to fear walking down the street. They need to be terrified for the things that they have done to the American people.
But they won't be.
No.
Unfortunately.
They laugh at us. They laugh at us. They're like, these peasants aren't going to do anything.
It's not a matter of what I think. It's what's provable. Okay? I think he did. I think he touched at least Justin Bieber in some way, shape, or form, or attempted. He solicited at least. I think. And I can say that all day long with no proof. But in a court case, no one's proved it yet. Look at it this way. They said Michael Jackson did it, and they didn't even have proof, and they convicted him. No proof, but they convicted him. You think anybody's working on proof anymore? Come on, they don't know about proof anymore. And they couldn't prove it because the victim doesn't want to talk. You see how that worked? Okay, suppose Justin Bieber did get touched. Suppose all Puffy did was touch on him all day, every day. And Justin don't want to say nothing. What can happen to Puffy? Nothing. Untouched. Can't touch him. If the victim don't say nothing, now you have a whole slew of females stepping up in front of a whole Congress bill and saying that you got molested by Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions, and you keep going back because you like the opportunity. You admit this. You go back every time. Ghislaine invites you, you give a massage, you go back to Ghislaine Maxwell. You don't report it, you go back to Ghislaine Maxwell. For 5 years, some of them go back because they want a model. Now they get older, they need the money. Or you won't give the name of anybody else you see. You know why? Because that's who gave you the money. You can't throw them under the bus. You think I'm against victims? No. But look at Giuffre. Virginia dropped names. The drop of a hat, name, blam, name, blam. She didn't care. Virginia Giuffre did not give a damn about nobody. She came out swanging. She came out and she just went blah, 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 names, incidents. Blah, 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 blah. She dropped everything and she risked her life and she died for it.
And people need to understand how powerful the deep state, what we like to call it, is. They're very powerful people. You got to look beyond Congress. You got to look beyond all of that stuff. It's a lot of the lobbyists, very powerful people who run the world, who run our country. We're only looking at the service. Well, what can Congress do? What can the DOJ do? They're just as scared as those victims are. Guarantee that. They're terrified. And some of them there are probably a few in there that actually want to come out and say, screw this, but they're also scared for their own lives and their family's lives. So we have to find a way to cut the head off the snake. Find out who the string pullers are. Once you start taking out the string pullers, the puppeteers, the rest will crumble, man.
Yep. Look, at the end of the day, they got people who will claim victimhood and never were victims. People like Ali Carter. I was this and I was trafficked to Russia and all kind of stuff. You out there And you say you naming names, but you only naming names after people have named names. And you mentioned in time frames that don't even match. And you won't even bring any case, but you tell nobody can solve anything, but you want everybody to do something. But you told people they can't solve it. So why the hell are you talking? That's the problem. And here's what I truly believe. I think there are some people that went through victimhood. They became victims either because their parents made it happen or it happened by some other random means. And by the time they realized they were victims, they were also kind of making some good money. And the victimhood idea left. And then when things went south for them in real life, victimhood came back as a good option. Now, were they ever victims? Yes, I believe 100% they were. But victimhood can sometimes turn into like, wait a minute, the money pretty good here. I'm not going to kill the gift horse. I'm like, of course, if the gift horse runs out of money, if look, I know they do some, but not all of them. Some of them, they don't have to threaten. They just got to promise. Just promise. And this too, there are some that do, but I can't give that excuse to all of them. Again, I will go back to the one person that has proven she was not only a victim, but she was done with being a victim, and she was going to fight tooth and nail, and that was Giuffre. Virginia risked life and limb. She didn't shut up. She didn't shy away. She didn't care who believed. She didn't try to make any rounds on media. If you notice, she never did that. All these other people claiming victimhood wants to go on big channels and talk about this and talk about it and have be seen and go and talk and talk and talk. She didn't say jack shit to nobody but the courts. And she wasn't ashamed to say her name, even if she did get asked. What happened to her?
And
They
the thing
couldn't
is,
buy her.
And the thing is, she knew that they were coming after her.
She
knew
knew
that they would kill her.
Yeah.
Without a
And she
shadow
still
of a
didn't
doubt.
shut up.
And she still did.
So that is why I can't give everybody that comes out to talk credence. Because the Institute trying to come and tell me, like we're dealing with one right now on both sides. Oh, I got this story. Okay, you ready to take it to the next level and tell the cops and tell it to the DNA? Well, the instant whale got to come out your mouth. You don't really want to deal with it. You want some time. You want your 15 minutes and money. That's all. Just admit that. I mean, okay, but you're making it difficult for real victims, though. You're making it very difficult. But Bondi needs to go. I'm convinced of that. There's too many things that took place while she was in power that just didn't seem to help anybody. Our concerns came true, and I just don't think she's worth the time and energy for Trump to keep going with her. And I think the same thing about Patel.
Yep.
He's outlived his usefulness, if he had any at the beginning. He's no longer doing that right now. All that bravado that he came in with just went right out the door lately. Bongino decided to dip quick. He got out. He's crashing out over people that don't want to ask him what happened. You can't crash out now. You went in and you told people what would happen and you came back out a whole different person. This is a valid crash out for people. We should be the ones pissed off, not you.
Yep.
We should be very mad that you did that.
We're not going to forget when you and Cash Patel got on camera and said pretty much
Epstein didn't kill himself.
He didn't kill himself. And
no, Epstein, at first you said he didn't, and then you said no, he did. He did kill himself. We saw it. We saw it that he did, and you couldn't put any video to it. And then you said, no, we saw the video. He killed himself, but then you wouldn't release the video because the video is missing. You see the problem?
Well, it's a little funny. There's those Epstein photos floating around in Tel Aviv. I don't know,
Nice.
I don't know.
Those AI look amazing. I'll tell you.
Hey, you never know, man.
I just find it weird that everything around him is blurry as hell, but he's super clear. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, maybe he has a really good iPhone. I don't know. Or whoever did have a really good iPhone to hold on the pose for it. I don't know.
Who knows, man? At this point in time in society, what's going on in the world, I'm right in the middle. Like, I'm just taking whatever comes at this point.
It's mad stuff. Mad stuff. But it's the weekend, people. Go have your pain medications and your what's it call it? Metamucil, like I'm gonna do. You remember Metamucil? Metamucil used to be the thing, man, back in the day for constipation.
What the hell? You drink Metamucil?
I used to take Metamucil. I love that stuff, and it tastes good too.
What the hell?
Yeah, Metamucil.
You just need to eat some ginger, man. Some
And
raw
then
ginger.
Centrum. You remember Centrum? Centrum used to be the thing old people used to take.
Raw ginger. That's all you need.
I do that too. I make a tea out of that.
Yeah, that's it.
I take
Right
take ginger and I grate it in some boiling water and I drink that. That's good for stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Epsom salt.
I do that too for my feet.
Epsom salt will clean you right out. You drink that stuff. I don't mean like a big glass of it, but you take some Epsom salt, man, it'll clean you right out.
Yep. Here's something. Wenatchee Sanctuary City. Don't mind the following and the comments and all that stuff, but we don't do other channel promotions on in the chat, if you don't mind. Just a simple request. If there are people out there that you like and you like to follow, that's cool. But we're here to boost our platform. We're trying to get our name out there. We have an email floating at the bottom. If you want to send it over to us, do that. But the random channel name dropping in the chats, let's try and stay away from that if you don't mind, especially if it's not a vetted name or something like that. I don't want nobody thinking that somebody in the chat is pro a channel when we're completely against it, if you don't mind. I'm not saying they do or do know something. I'm just saying we prefer that not to be the case, please. But you can email anything from them if you want to our email address. Feel free to do that. That way we can vet them, so the next time it pops up, we can say yay or nay to it, if you don't mind.
I didn't even see the comment.
It wasn't sideways. It's just the proverbial, go to this people, they have something, but you're here. You get what I'm saying? You're on our channel. You get what I'm saying? So we know as much as anybody else, the stuff too. And if it's something we should investigate, just send it to our email and we'll investigate and see if it's anything we already don't know or something that we've been privy to for years. Here's what it really comes across as: disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it kind of comes across as, disrespectful, that you come to somebody else's platform. You should go to here. He has you're here now. Okay. I get what they're doing. I'm talking about this channel though.
Saving lives. Okay. How many lives?
All I'm saying is it's just a simple request. Ain't nobody coming at you sideways. Just asking you not to boost another channel's content here. I don't see how that's a bad request. I don't see how it wasn't even disrespectful to ask you not to put that in there. I'm sure they do something good, but I asked you simply to just email it to us and we can check it out ourselves. And we ask this of anybody that comes in and puts some another channel in the comment section. That's all. Yeah, if it's unreasonable to you, I'm sorry. I really am, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure we can request what we need to. It's our last touch. This is our platform, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Just making sure. Anyhow, more likely, Mr. Lee will be back come Monday with us, and we will catch up with you guys then. Make sure, if you haven't caught up to all of our videos, go do that. Go like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out as many of our merchandise pieces as you can as well. We look forward to catching up with you guys come a Monday.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, whoever.
For all you lovers out there.
Yeah, all you all weirdos.
It makes me want to gag.
Hey, go binge watch Superman and Hulk.
Yeah.
That's the best one I got for you, because I'm going to be doing work. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Peace.